It's now my pleasure to call upon the Houston chairperson for Israel Bonds, Jeremy Sorkin, a member of our congregation, one of my friends who will address our membership today.
Combines, unites, or strengthens. As a verb, to bond means forming a close relationship, especially through frequent association. We as Jews are all bound together no matter where in the world we call home. This bond cemented itself many centuries ago and has stood the test of time. This bond helped us survive exile, war, the Inquisition, pogroms, and the Shoah. Now today, this bond connects Jews around the world with the modern state of Israel. Last week, Rabbi Ford spoke beautifully of our ancestral bond and how our values, traditions, and principles were shaped by our past from our ancestors. She also reminded us how we, everyone in this sanctuary, everyone at home right now, will also be an ancestor someday. We are truly part of something special and something greater than ourselves. Today, we are fortunate to have a homeland, a Jewish state, a place where we all belong and are welcome. Israel stands as a beacon of hope, strength, and potential. Her technology sector leads the world alongside Silicon Valley. Her defense industry is a true partner with the United States and has literally saved thousands of innocent lives. Her medical scientists rival the world's best and employ cutting-edge trials seeking to cure our most complex illnesses. Our investment in Israel via Israel Bonds helped lay the foundation for many of these successes. We know all too well that Israel has experienced its share of bumps in the road. Recently, the global boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, known as BDS, has sought to infiltrate our universities and pressure administrations and students to boycott all things Israel. They seek to label Israel a pariah in the international arena and attempt to distinguish between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism. They try to injure Israel economically, while Iran, both directly and through its proxies, continues to call for the physical extermination of Israel. Israeli citizens cope with rockets and fire balloon threats every day. Amazingly, there is another more transformative movement taking place in the Middle East, the emergence of peace. Newly minted agreements with the UAE and Bahrain set the table for a new generation of optimism. Change will not happen overnight, but we pray this momentum will accelerate, and perhaps one day, Israel will be at peace with all of her neighbors. Your investment in Israel Bonds solidifies and strengthens the state of Israel. Since 1950, bonds have helped grow stronger and face challenges head-on. Israel Bonds are not a donation, but an investment that pays you back with both interest and a heightened personal connection. Your parents and grandparents proudly invested with Israel. Now it is our opportunity to invest in Israel, so future generations, our descendants, can continue to proudly visit and live in our Jewish homeland. L'dor v'ador. For more information on Israel bond rates, prospectuses, and how to participate in this year's appeal, contact Houston's very own Steve Landis at our local Israel Bonds office, or go to israelbonds.com. A link is provided on the Beth Yeshurun website by clicking the High Holy Days menu button from the homepage. Please make your investment pledge today. Thank you. Shana Tova.
Thank you, Jeremy. And we're honored to have one of our members. So many of our members are involved in so many worthy organizations, and Israel Bonds is one of them, of course. So we're honored to continue to participate with Israel Bonds. And of course, we think of the Jewish homeland today that is having a difficult time with the coronavirus. Many of you may know that Israel is the first country in the world to now have a second lockdown. And this second lockdown is even more severe than the first one. And so we think of our Israeli brothers and sisters during these days, and we do what we can to make this investment in the Jewish homeland. And as you make that investment, We now invite you to watch this video done by our cantor that reminds us of the bonds, the eternal bonds between the United States and the State of Israel.
From the sands of the Negev to the snows of the Golan, there's a land of milk and honey this nation calls its home. They've ended their long journey that took 2,000 years and built a land that's lush and green with hope and sweat and tears. This mighty land, from waves of grain to mountains high, we all stand hand in hand. This is the home of freedom, Alabaster City.